Boy, that's not exactly what I told him my intro would be, but okay. Ross Perot is quoted as saying, "If you find a snake, just kill it. Don't appoint a committee on it." I'm not so fond of that quote. I much prefer W.C. Fields, who said, "Always carry a bottle of whiskey just in case of snake bites. And furthermore, always carry a small snake. It makes me can't you bother me." Well, Toastmasters often says people are more afraid of standing up in front of a crowd and speaking than they are of snakes. Well, my goal today is to try to make you a little bit less afraid of both. So, snakes. We live in Florida. It's like the snake capital of the United States in some ways. No, not really. But there's three things that I want to talk to you about. First is some facts about snakes. Hopefully that'll make you a little bit less afraid of them. Two, we're going to help you identify some snakes. Because that way, if you know what snakes are good and what snakes are bad, you'll know which ones to stay away from. And three, on the off chance you really can't stay away from a snake just because you love them so much or just because they're in your way, what are you going to do about it? So we'll cover those three things. First thing, snakes. There are 50 species of snakes native to the state of Florida. 50 of them. This doesn't count the anacondas and boas and everything else that people have dumped in the Everglades. Now, who here would be surprised, would be disturbed, maybe even a little afraid to find out that more than 10 species, more than 20% of those 50 snakes are venomous? Who here would be scared, frightened, disturbed? Just two? Wow, that's great. Well, I tell you, you guys have a lot less to worry about because it's not true. Only 6. That's less than an 1/8 of the snakes in the state of Florida are venomous. That's awesome. So, you've got 7/8 that aren't. Well, all snakes, 100% of them, are beneficial to humans. We love snakes. Snakes are our friend. You know, the whole go back to the Garden of Eden thing, you think, well, maybe not, but that's a different story. All snakes are carnivores. They're carnivorous. They're going to eat rats, mice, roaches, other bugs, things that you don't want to have around anyway. So that's a good thing. Some non-venomous snakes, such as an indigo snake, actually eat venomous snakes. So okay, now we've got 7/8 of the snakes you really don't need to worry about. Some of those are actually taking care of some of the ones you do worry about. Okay, so that's pretty darn good. So we're doing all right? Okay, so what are you going to do if you see a snake? You need to be able to identify it, okay, just in case. So the first thing is, if you look at your hand, or if you look at my hand, or if you look at a shovel, it's sort of like a spade, it gets wide and gets pointy. Okay, the point, I want to make that point very obvious. If you look at this, this is what the head of a venomous snake would look like. Okay, so let's face it, if you see a snake, one of the first things you're going to do is where's the head, because they don't want to get bit. So if you look at the head and you see it's pointy, that's a good sign. I maybe should stay away from that snake. Another thing is the eyes.
No pain.
You know, say the eyes are the windows to the soul. Well, almost all venomous snakes, their eyes are elliptical, they're a slit, just like a cat. So now if you've seen the head, you see it's pointy, you see the eye, you know it's pointy, well then chances are there's a couple of other points that you really don't want to get any closer to. Now, I say most, because there's at least one exception to this rule. Non-venomous snakes are just the opposite. Their head is spoon-shaped, it's rounded, okay, just like their eye. The pupil in the eye is round. Okay, that means it's a good snake. It's non-venomous. I don't say all snakes are good, but it's one you have less to worry about. The one exception to this rule is the one everybody knows about because there's various rhymes about it, and that's the coral snake. Everybody's heard about that. Red touches yellow, deadly fellow. Red touches like friend of Jack, or is it the other way around? You know, who knows? Well, the easy thing about this is this: don't worry about any rhymes. You see a multicolored banded snake, you've already looked at its head because I said that's the first thing to look at. And if, barring that, you look at its eye. Well, if its nose is black, it's poisonous. That is a coral snake. Very simple. You don't need to worry about any silly rhymes, anything like that. That is a poisonous snake. Leave it alone. I'm going to pass this around, let you guys get a better close at those venomous snakes we have here in Florida. The one in the bottom right corner is the coral snake I was talking about. Let's say there was a snake here in this room right now, and not because I planted one here. So, say there's a snake here, and play along. Cindy, there's a snake here. Is it striped or is it not striped?
Not striped.
It's not striped. Okay, Jim, it's not a striped snake. Is it blotched or is it not blotched?
It's most definitely blotched.
It's most definitely blotched. Okay. Dave, since I told you to look at the head, is the snout upturned or is it not upturned?
Not upturned.
It's not upturned.
Could you get closer?
Okay, Den, does it have black, yellow, or reddish orange splotches? Or does it have black, or does it have gray or brown blotches?
Hey.
Gray or black.
Okay.
And black.
Does it have a tiny, okay, Bet, does it have a tiny rattle on the tail?
Yes.
It does have a tiny rattle on the
Yes, it
tail.
does.
But
Well,
it's
excellent,
so small.
because you guys have just identified a dusty pygmy rattler. Obviously, it's poisonous. Rattlesnakes are poisonous. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can get this list from the Florida Museum of Natural History. It's obvious. It's about 8 pages. Obviously, you're not going to carry something like this around in your pocket. But say around your house, you see a snake, you notice a snake, you're, gosh, boy, should I worry about it? Well, again, if you saw the head, you can easily identify to say whether or not that was poisonous. If you have the time, you know, maybe you see it outside your front door and you're looking at it, you're trying to decide if I should go out. Florida Museum of Natural History has this great checklist. So, I've told you some facts about them, so you know most of them aren't anything to worry about. I've told you to identify the venomous ones from the non-venomous ones. So now, what do you do if you come across a snake?
Run.
No. Well, you don't have to run. Don't kill it. That's not necessary. Leave it alone. Just like most wild animals, they don't want to have anything to do with you. You don't have anything to do with them. On the off chance, though, you do have to do something about them. Let's take out the trash. So now, most snakes can jump about half their body length. So, nice big long can like this. Get your trash can down on the ground and sweep it, literally guide it, coax it into that can. Snakes love dark places. They'll go in, no problem. You then take the can out back, dump it over, and the snake will leave on its own. You go back, get your trash can later on. Now, if you do get bit, first thing you should do, as always, call 911, call your poison control center. Some of you ladies, or even some of you men, if you wear rings, you wear a bracelet or a watch, take it off right away. Your hand will swell. And it's going to be a pain to try and get that stuff off if you don't get it off right away. But don't worry. Don't panic. 8,000 people about are bit annually by venomous snakes. No more than 12 die in any given year. You're 4 times more likely to die in a car accident.
Oh.
And you're about
After a snake bite.
a couple 100,000 times more likely to be in a car accident than you are to get bit by a poisonous snake. So you see, snakes aren't all that bad. Most of them are great. And like Bindi Irwin says, you know, I think I really like poisonous snakes. Thank you.